All right, welcome to Trey's Wildlife Adventures. This is going to be my first ever YouTube post. Going to kind of explain a little bit about myself in this video. First off, if you don't know, I'm Trey. This is Trey's Wildlife Adventures, and I used to be on a TV show called Gator Boys, which was on Animal Planet. A lot of people always ask, hey, where's all the people? What are we all doing? We all kind of scattered around, are doing our own different things. And I've had quite a few people ask me, especially friends, they're like, why don't you do a YouTube show, YouTube channel or whatever? And so I thought about it and filmed a lot of stuff. And so for the past, I would have to say probably like 10 years, I've filmed a lot of stuff and had different ideas and filmed it and recorded it and stored it and never posted any of it. I've filmed it for 10 years and never post anything. Always came up with excuses of why not to, trying to be a perfectionist. Oh, it's got to be perfect. It's got this, it's got to have that, special lighting. And I just decided, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just gonna post things as is. Don't really edit that much. It takes. I've gonna post a few episodes out there that I took time editing and add little special effects and everything, and it takes so much time doing all that. And that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't really post that much, because it was such a pain in the butt to put it all together. So yeah, I'm deciding to just go ahead and just start throwing stuff up there and see if you guys like it. A little bit about myself, where I started and everything. Everybody's seen me on Gator Boys. I'm doing all different sorts of things on the show. If you don't know the show, check it out. It was on Animal Planet. Hasn't aired in quite a few years. They've been showing repeats on Animal Planet lately. You can go on the Discovery, the Discovery app, or Discovery, whatever, however they call it now, the app or channel or whatever, and you can. They got all the episodes on there. I haven't watched all the episodes, so I watched the first few episodes, and then I didn't watch it because I didn't have cable, so it was kind of hard to watch it. They never really sent me, you'd think you'd be on a show, they would send you videos and things like that, and no, they don't really do that. They don't really show you, they don't, at least the people in the background, or what I call myself, the people in the background, they don't really do things like that. They just kind of pay you and you keep going, and they don't, they never really, they sent me a couple videos. They were like, not what you would buy in the stores, just someone went into the studio and just like burned a few DVDs and gave them to us. They probably weren't supposed to, I don't know, but I got a first couple of seasons like that. But yeah, how did I basically become where I am, and how are my interests? And basically for Trey's Wildlife Adventures, I'm interested in wildlife. I love wildlife. I love nature. Ever since I was a child, I went hiking and going out into the woods, walking around my house as a kid, catching bugs and insects. I even had a little thing called the Bug Zoo. It had like little departments in it where you could, like, you catch a spider, you put it in a little department. That was used to do that. And then we go around and catch little garter snakes and DK snakes, or brown snakes. And this was all in Pennsylvania. And when I was in Pennsylvania, I would set up like little ponds in my backyard, makeshift ponds to have my little turtles. And I would go to pet shops and buy turtles. My parents were always supportive of all my stuff. Before the internet, I would go to the local library, and I got every single book that was out there that had to do with especially reptiles and amphibians. I would get those books, bring them home, read them, and then take them, take them back to the library and go to the next one, and then I would read every single one in the library, and so, well, let me get another one. Let me start all over again and pull them again and start reading them. So it was kind of different back when I was younger. There was no such thing as internet, so that's how you had to do it. You had to go to your card catalog and see if you missed anything that was hidden somewhere in the library. But yeah, that's how I started, and we'd go to all the pet shops. If we went to the mall or anything like that, in Pittsburgh, I would, beg my parents, come on, let me, please, let me go to the pet shop, and so we'd go to the pet shops, and I would look and just fantasize of what animals were in there, like, oh, one day I want this, and I want to take care of that, and every time I did a project at school, it always, any kind of, anything I had to do in school, I always try to make it turn around to be focused about wildlife. And so all my teachers, they always thought, oh, you're going to be a zookeeper one day when you grow up. And and I would even go to the Pittsburgh Zoo and hang out there. Sometimes my parents, we worked at farmers markets as a kid. I grew up, my parents worked farmers markets. If you don't know what that is, it's like where everybody kind of gets their all these different farms from the area farmers would go, and they would sell their crops. You can go there and buy corn and tomatoes and potatoes and collard greens and things like that. And so my parents and I would sell vegetables like that. We would work for a farm and do that. And so on my breaks, I would go around the parking lot looking for snakes and little critters, and so that's kind of like how I started finding like little animals, like finding snakes in little patches of woods around the city of Pittsburgh. And then I would go to the Pittsburgh, my parents would be working at the farmers market in the parking lot of the Pittsburgh Zoo, and I would beg my parents, and my parents eventually they bought a season pass to the Pittsburgh Zoo. So again, this is back in the 80s, so parents really they let their kids do a lot of crazy things on their own. They always told the kids, go away, go do your thing. And so I kind of did. They got me that pass, and I would go to the Pittsburgh Zoo, and I would walk around the Pittsburgh Zoo all day and just sit and watch all the animals. And I just really enjoyed that, being around them all. And then there was some forest up in Pennsylvania that we would go camping in, and I would go there and look for more snakes and turtles and frogs, and I would just have a whole collection. My parents were always supportive with me and my sisters. Whatever they wanted to do, my parents supported, and I wanted to work around animals, and so my parents supported that. And then eventually, through different things that's happened in my life, my parents had to move out of Pittsburgh, and we moved to South Florida. When I moved to South Florida, at first I didn't like it. I hated South Florida. I didn't like the people. They weren't as nice. It was like pure city. Yeah, there was like little lizards everywhere. That was like really cool, but it was just, I missed going out into the woods, because like when we lived in Pittsburgh, we were going out to the woods every weekend, and we were going, there was woods close to the house that I could actually walk or ride my bike to and hang out in some creeks and stuff. But the area in South Florida that we moved into, which was Hollywood, Florida, which is just south of Fort Lauderdale, it was not, at first I didn't really care for it. But then I started at a place, it was called the Native Village. It was a small little zoo. And it was located in Hollywood, Florida, on the Seminole Reservation. Nowadays, just to kind of give you an idea of where it's at, if you know where the Guitar Hotel is in South Florida, that's the Hollywood Seminole Reservation. Native Village used to be right there on 441 between Sterling and Sheridan, and it was a small little 1 acre wildlife facility. Didn't look like much from the outside. It kind of looked run down when we first went there, and then you stepped into the gift shop, and the gift shop was like just so cool. There was like animal heads everywhere, and the people in there were just so nice, and they were like, oh, go ahead, go in the back, check it out. And we started walking around, and when you first walk through those back doors, you walk right to a pond. It looked like you were in the middle of a swamp, and there was turtles and fish swimming around in it, and it was just so jungle-like and so awesome. And when you went there, all of a sudden, all that noise from the city just kind of disappeared, and you didn't even realize you were in the city still. It seemed like you were out in the Everglades or the swamp, and that was their slogan back in the day, was a little piece of the Everglades in the middle of the city. And we would walk around, and there was a snake pit, and it had venomous snakes and non-venomous snakes slithering around in this natural pit. And there was a waterfall with a big giant alligator snapping turtle, and a big alligator right there named Long Jaws. They had a big sign of how he was the big alligator and sitting by himself. And behind the snake pit, there was little glass displays of all the venomous snakes in Florida that you can find. And you had your Eastern diamondback rattlesnake, and your water moccasin, and your pygmy, and then they even had non-venomous corn snakes that were in there, yellow rat snake, and it was just so cool. They had like little paintings in the back for the background drop. It was real neat. And then you keep going, and then you run into a pit with otters in it, running around, and it was just so for a 1 acre place. It was so full of so many things. It didn't even feel like an acre. It felt like 3 acres because of the way they had it all set up, where you zigzag all over the place, and you couldn't see straight through the way they planted the plants. And I just loved it. And this is a time that I was actually having some issues at the school trying to fit in, with the kids in South Florida, and getting into fights and just not having a good time, wanting to go home, wanting to go back to Pittsburgh. And that's my dad wanted, he took me to the Native Village there to kind of check it out. We went there right after school one day. He saw I had a bad day, so that's why he took me up there. And we were over into the north side of the zoo there of Native Village, and there was a bunch of large cats. There were Florida panthers and bobcats sitting right there, and there was a planter right across from the cats, where there was like some ferns and some trees growing in there, and there was a big guy in there, and he was raking the leaves in there. And he asked us, he goes, hey, do you guys have any questions? And my dad looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, nope, we're good, because I'm a shy guy. I don't like talking to people that much. So as a kid, I just real shy. Didn't want to bother anybody, and so we kept this guy, he goes, well, my name is Ian, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Make this place your home. If you want to hold a baby alligator, let me know. And so we moved on, and started walking towards a bigger pit of alligators, and I stopped and was leaning on the rail looking at them and stuff, and my dad kept elbowing me, hey, and I'm like, quit it, Dad, quit it, what are you doing? And he goes, go ahead, ask him. And I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, it took every ounce of courage I had in my body to do it, but I went up to this big guy, and he's not a scary guy, he's just a big guy, and he had a nice smile and everything, so you knew he was friendly. And so I went up to him, and my dad, he encouraged me to ask well before we got there, and I was just too scared to do so. But finally, I got the courage because my dad put me in the spot. He's like, "Oh, my son wants to ask you a question." I was like, "Oh, shoot, he put me in a spot, Dad." And the guy Ian, he came up and he goes, "Oh, what's your question?" And I looked at him and he goes, "Come on." And I was like, "Well, the question I have is how can I get your job?" And Ian looked right at me and he goes, "You can't have my job." He goes, "But if you want, you can volunteer here, and then we can work on seeing if you can get a work here as well. Just volunteer and then go from working." And I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." And he says, "Come in next weekend." And so I did. I went up there the following weekend. School went a little bit better for me because all I could just think of is I'm going to go to this zoo and I'm going to volunteer at it. And so eventually I made my way on that weekend up there, and I got to meet the guy that ran the place. His name is Skeet, and he kind of described him as he had a cowboy hat on and a mustache and just very serious look, and he had really deep blue eyes, and he, when he talked, you knew when he was talking it was serious. Like he only talked when he had really something really to say. He just didn't just talk just to talk. And so I started there, and he asked me. They gave me a paper. It was two guys that actually helped put the paper together, and it was Ian and Mike were putting the volunteer paper together. I had to. They wrote it out, the paperwork of basically, so like the liability if I were to get hurt or anything, I'm not going to sue. And on the paperwork it was saying, we are not responsible for any injuries, or we're not responsible for death or decapitation. Yes, I said decapitation. That was in the paperwork. And so I brought it back home, and I got to rake all day, and that was pretty much it. And so yeah, I raked, and I got that paperwork, took it home, and my mom and dad looked it over. My mom just shook her head, and they signed it, and got it notarized and gave it back to them. And that's how I started at a little zoo called Native Village. It was just one of the most amazing places to grow up, and I got to learn a lot. And from there is where I already had some knowledge on animals because I was like such a geek on just trying to find anything I can on animals. I would read up on everything and anything, and they gave me all kinds of leeway. I got to go into the gator pit and the baby alligator pit, and that baby alligator pit. One of the reasons why I was able to go in there so quick is, well, because I already had an alligator and a caiman before I moved to Florida. I bought them at pet shops. They were legal in the state of Pennsylvania to own alligators and caimans. You could go right into Petland or any pet shop and buy one. And now it's going to be a different story down the road. We'll tackle that later. But there, I just got to work on all kinds of things, and I just so enjoyed it. Then after all that, worked at different other facilities and stuff, and then one of the kids that I mentored growing up at the Native Village was Jimmy. And if you watch Gator Boys, you all know Jimmy. And then Paul, he would come around too. So I got to know these guys, Jimmy and Paul, for a long time. And they started a TV show on Animal Planet. And that'll be a different episode, I think. Tell you guys the story of how Gator Boys started and how we all met. But we all pretty much, Jimmy and I, we started at the Native Village. It was some real good fun time. This YouTube channel, I really don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to do like a podcast type video to like maybe come on once a week and you guys put down on the bottom like what you want to hear about or what do you want to learn. I also got videos of all kinds of stuff that I've done with animals and different adventures that I've been on. And I'm not sure where this channel is going to go. There's so many different places it can go, but I think I'm just going to like kind of like make it kind of like a tree, you know. I'm just going to plant this seed and see if it grows and see what it grows into, because honestly I think it's going to be up to you guys, the people who are watching this video. I really would like to know what you guys would like to hear about. If you guys want to see some interviews with certain people, or if you want to hear certain stories about different parts of my life or others, or if you just want to learn about animals and nature, just write a comment down below, and I'll read them, see what's down there, and I'll try and get to everybody the best I can, if there is anybody that actually watches and checks it out. I got a lot of friends that are doing YouTube channels and stuff, but I'm just kind of doing this just for myself, just see where it goes, and see if anybody wants to learn something or hear about certain things, and I'll try to make sure that happens, and so you guys can get some good videos or whatnots. So I hope you guys enjoyed this introduction at first. I am going to post a couple videos of just simple weird things that I put together. Don't know which direction I'm going, so I'll post these things and see what you guys' comments are. So when you see these videos, please, write a comment down, say if you like it or don't like it, or if you have any suggestions, or you want to hear something where, hey, I want to hear more of that, please leave those comments down there. If you like it, hit that like button. If you don't like it, there's not a don't like button, but if there was, go ahead and hit that, if you do like it, just repost it somehow. I'm still learning the internet stuff, like how to do the social media stuff, but share it around, subscribe to the channel. I just know some of those things because I watch YouTube videos myself, and those guys are always like, hit that like button, and they have the little bell thing, cha-ching, and then hit the subscribe button, and that comes up somewhere around there. I really don't know how to do those things. But yeah, do those things if you want. And I'm recording this on my cell phone right now. I really don't know where I'm looking, what to do, but it's my first video that I'm putting out there, so. But please share it if you want to. Post it on Facebook or whatever things you post these on. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Talk to you guys later.